Okay, take a look at these two monitors. Not really a fair comparison, I know. I mean, the monitor on the right is a $1,200 4K monitor, and the one on the left is like $200. But look at how good the text looks on the rather affordable monitor on the left. It's even a bit sharper and clearer than the 4K panel, which is super impressive. So yeah, why does this little affordable 24-inch monitor look so good and so much better than the typical 24-inch gaming monitor that you might have at home? It's all about the pixel density. Because this is one of the very, very few 1440p gaming monitors that comes in this compact 24-inch size. And obviously, if you shrink down a 1440p panel to just 24 inches, you get a really good pixel density. And that has a lot of advantages, like better looking text, better scaling support, better looking games, and you can sit much closer to the monitor. All of which is true with 4K monitors as well, but unlike 4K, this is a lot easier on your hardware, and a monitor like this is much more affordable than a 4K monitor too. The issue, however, is that this is one of just about a handful of gaming monitors that have these specs. For some reason, there are almost no other small 1440p gaming monitors like this, which really is a shame. On PC Part Picker, for instance, there are almost 300 entries for 1080p monitors at this size, but for 1440p, there are just 8 monitors, and 5 of which have a TN panel. So this Q24G2A from AOC is actually one of just 2 IPS monitors that have these specs. The other one is the Koorui GP01, and I'm actually pretty confident that both use the same panel, so there really is not much variety on the market right now. I have both of them linked down below, by the way. So yeah, for some reason this is a super neglected category, but it really shouldn't be. The specs combination is about the closest you can get to the 4K high refresh rate experience without breaking the bank and actually going for a real 4K setup. Like if we compare the pixel densities, the traditional 24-inch 1080p monitor sits right here, with the super popular 27-inch 1440p monitor not too far away. The 4K panels are all way to the right with their super high pixel densities, and the 24-inch 1440p monitor fits right here, filling the gap. It's halfway between 27-inch 1440p and 32-inch 4K, which also basically is what it looks like to the eye. From the same distance, it's noticeably sharper than your standard 27-inch 1440p display. And I've actually been using this monitor alongside these new 32-inch 4K OLED monitors a lot, and it really struck me how good it looks in comparison. Obviously, these are very different monitors, but when it comes to sharpness and how things look on screen, they're remarkably similar. Like one of the most annoying things with low-res monitors is how large icons, text, and the whole interface of the OS and most programs look. Even at 100% scaling, a 1080p monitor can feel a bit claustrophobic as everything is blown up and crammed onto the screen. Using the 24-inch 1440p monitor though, feels like there's just much more space to work with. It's actually looking kind of similar to the 32-inch 4K monitor at 125% scaling, which is what I've been using before. It's smaller, obviously, but my video editing workflow is actually pretty similar on both. The space I have for my effects, tools, and the timeline is pretty comparable, so the high resolution is a big plus for productivity. Now for gaming, 1440p really hits the sweet spot. In this scene in Starfield, my 4080 only manages about 60 to 70 FPS at 4K, but at 1440p I'm getting slightly north of 100 FPS. That's a pretty noticeable difference. And these margins seem pretty consistent across multiple games and GPUs. I've crunched some numbers from Hub's GPU testing, and yeah, when going from 1440p to 4K, planning to lose almost half of your FPS. The hit when going from 1080p to 1440p is much smaller though, and we're only losing about a quarter to a third of the frame rate. So yeah, really no surprise that 1440p is such a popular resolution. There is a caveat to this though. 1440p monitors need to be a lot smaller than a 4K monitor to offer a similar level of sharpness and fidelity. You can stretch a 4K image across a much larger screen size and still have a super crisp looking image. Or just get much closer to a 4K monitor without giving up on image quality. Either way, 4K can cover a much larger portion of your field of view and thus can be a lot more immersive. Of course, I could just get closer to this small 1440p monitor too, so that it covers the same field of view, but this would negate the effect of the high pixel density. The image is starting to get pixelated and getting too close. In terms of retina distances, you could have a 32-inch 4K monitor at just about 60 cm distance without seeing individual pixels, while a 24-inch 1440p monitor needs to be 7 cm further away. And the beloved 27-inch 1440p monitor has to be at a 76 cm distance to qualify as Retina. And the classic 24-inch 1080p monitor has to be 90 cm away. At my usual viewing distance, about 60 cm away from the screen, even a 27-inch 1440p monitor looks slightly pixelated. Really only the 24-inch 1440p monitor and 4K monitors look great at this distance. So yeah, it really is a shame that 24-inch and 1440p are such a rare combination in the gaming monitor space. There are almost no alternatives to this monitor that I have right here if you want these specs. But yeah, don't get me wrong, the Q24G2A is a great little monitor. It has good color accuracy, the response times are also good for an IPS panel. There's really not a lot to complain about. I have these lights and a few more linked down below in case you want to dig through all the measurement results. But yeah, I just wish there was more variety in the market. Like a 240Hz or even 360Hz 1440p panel in the 24-inch form factor would also be pretty sweet. Given how GPUs rip through esports games nowadays, north of 500 FPS really is not an issue anymore at 1440p, so this would be amazing for FPS games, especially if you like to sit close to your monitor. Anyway, thanks for watching, bis zum nächsten Video.